Hey guys, it's TheFrXion here, Tank12, having to call me, I don't really care. Welcome back to World of Tanks, where today we're actually going to be taking a look at some of the bundles and some of the discounts that are currently going on for the 12th anniversary of World of Tanks. No gameplay, nothing of that sort. We're just going to take a look at some of the vehicles, and I'm going to give you a little bit of my opinion if they are worth it or not. Keep in mind, I live in Switzerland, so my prices are the Swiss prices. Depending on where you live, they're actually going to adjust to your prices. So in the United States, it's going to be US dollar, as you imagine. If you're in Canada, it's going to be Canadian dollars. So it's about, on average, should be close to the price you have to pay. But I'm just going to talk about if these vehicles are worth it or not. We're going to go into the game afterwards as well, and we're going to talk about the vehicles that they're selling there because they're very different from the tanks you can get here on a discount. So first and foremost, you have the Amex M4 MLE 49, which is a French Tier 8 heavy tank with really good armor at the front, a decent 100mm gun, and very good turret armor as well. The vehicle itself is fairly competitive, and I think if you want to get this is probably a very good tank to get. You can actually get it on the bond store, so if you have bonds and you do not want to spend any money, the bond vehicle or the bond version is available as well. It's going to cost you 8,000 bonds. It's quite a lot, but still, if you don't have if you're not able to buy things off the store, there's still a bond version for it. So very good tank. I still enjoy it. I think it still has a place in the game. You can really have a good time with it. It's in the store if you don't want to buy it from here. Saving 20% is probably not too bad. You're not going to be saving much more, I think, because Wargaming usually does not give you higher sales on vehicles. Moving on to the 112. Very similar kind of thing. This tank has been buffed. It has a very good frontal armor. The hull is very strong. The lower plate is actually quite strong as well. It does not have the same kind of penetration with the standard shells as the AMX M4 MLE has, but it actually does have very good heat shells. 250mm of penetration. You're going to be able to work quite a few tanks with that. It has preferential matchmaking as well. It will not see tier 10 vehicles, if I recall correctly. And it's a very nice tank. Saving about 20% on it is also a pretty nice thing. This vehicle is also available in the bond shop. It's either the WZ111 or the WZ112. Either way, they're a little bit different, but they're still very similar to one another, and they have the same kind of gun. So close to one another, not identical. Still a good tank. They are worth it if you think about it. Moving on, we have the T26E5, which is the T26E5. I forgot the name, what it's also called. But this is a very good tank. I've free-marked this. I've enjoyed it a lot. Very good hull armor at the front. Very good turret armor. This vehicle will definitely be a good addition to your premium tanks if you can play a heavy tank with very low alpha damage but high DPM. Low alpha, high DPM, decent pen though. The gun is a bit iffy sometimes, but you can work with it. It's also available on the bond shop if you do not want to spend $31 for it. Now the other tanks here, they're all not on sale. The next tank that is actually on sale is the Super Pershing and the IS-6. All the other ones down here, they're not on sale. The Super Pershing, I think it has preferential matchmaking as well, like the 112. Let me see. The T26 does not have preferential matchmaking. Super Pershing has preferential matchmaking, and it actually, for the price of $23.78, is pretty cheap if you ask me for premium tanks. That's quite a low price. I'm not sure if you can get it in the bond shop. I think you cannot, but you can get it on the Tech Tree because it's still a Tech Tree premium. This is a very decent premium tank that still is able to, deal a lot of damage, take up a lot of damage because the armor is still very relevant. You have basically a Pershing that is slower but has more armor at the front, a tank that I can kind of still play. I still play regularly. It's a lot of fun. It's a historical vehicle as well. and it's a great crew trainer. I've had a lot of great times with the Super Pershing, so I can only recommend the Super Pershing. The premium pen is a bit on the lower side, even the standard pen. Now, since you are going to be only facing tier 9 tanks, you're not going to be facing tier 10 tanks. I think the Super Pershing is still a very good choice to get. Moving on, the Chrysler is also on sale. The Chrysler tank actually is quite cheap, very good frontal armor, a great side scraping tank. Turret is at the back. You can basically just side scrape and shoot tanks. The penetration on the AP shell is a bit lacking. You do have decent penetration on the APCR shell, the premium shells. Turret is almost indestructible from the front, but once somebody gets on the side, it becomes a little bit difficult to keep up the fight. One of the things I've noticed just with the Chrysler K is it's a little bit of a boring tank to play, and I'm not really sure if everyone likes the play style because it's very one-sided. Other tanks are a little bit different. Now the IS-6, this tank, like both these vehicles, the IS-6 and the Chrysler K, are both available in the bond shop. So if you want to get them and you have the 8,000 bonds, they are available for bonds. The IS-6 is a very interesting one because it has still the very interesting armor, but it's no longer as effective as it used to be because there are other Soviet tanks that are just as fast, have very similar kinds of armor, even better armor sometimes, and better guns. The IS-6 has a very high rate of fire, so it's going to be able to deal a lot of damage. It also has preferential matchmaking, but the issue is just that I think the penetration is no longer suitable. Even at tier 8, you sometimes run into tanks where you can't pen them even with the APCR shells because the APCR shells are really lacking in pen. Only 217 millimeters or maybe 237 if they improved it. The tank itself is still a lot of fun, but the price tag of 32.24, I think it's quite steep. I would rather get it for bonds, play the game a little bit, and get the bonds. Other than that, there are no tanks I would recommend. Nothing here is on sale, but having these tanks on sale is at least a little nice feature. So we're going to move on to the tanks in the event. We're going to talk a little bit about the worth of the bundles, if they are actually worth something. So first and foremost, happy 12th anniversary in World of Tanks. If you've stuck around for this long, you might as well just take a look at the offers. Don't forget, when you're playing this mode, get the coins. There are a lot of things you can actually buy. For example, bonds, always important. You can get like 3,000 bonds for the points. You can also get styles. So, take your time, play the game, get some stuff, get some credits if you're running out. I only have 134,000, but generally speaking, there are some very interesting things. So you have some deals on premium tanks. The ELC even 90 is going to cost you 7,080 instead of 8,850. 20% off the T50 TP prototype, and 20% off this TheFrXion S1. All three of these tanks are quite unique in their own way. They're quite interesting. ELC even 90 is the most interesting one. The STRV S1 for the tank destroyer crowd who want to be really accurate, and the 50 TP prototype for the heavy tank players. Very nice tank. I enjoy it a lot. The armor is a bit iffy though. Sometimes you just need to kind of get used to it, but it's a tank that can do quite a lot of damage in game. Now finally, we're coming to the anniversary store offers. These offers are all quite expensive. Now I would immediately at first would not recommend the $150 option. Do not buy this kind of thing. It's way too expensive. They're selling you gold that you can just buy at a separate date, and they're trying to sell you credits which you can just basically grind when you have a premium tank. So I would not go for the highest kind of bundle, the most expensive one, and the second highest bundle is also quite expensive for me. If you only want the tank, kind of forgo that and kind of ignore that. But if you want this vehicle, the second highest bundle where you pay 62 bucks instead of the 70 bucks, you get a little bit of gold, you get the styles, and you get like 5 times experience for the Caliban. For me personally, it's not worth it. You might want to do it because of the anniversary coins, because they're going to give you like 3 anniversary coins, which is almost nothing. But generally speaking, I would not recommend this. I would basically just buy the cheapest version This is where you can actually also use a coupon, I think, if you have the ability, if you have a coupon available. $48 for the Caliban. It's a fun tank if you like the HE. Other than that, it's a little bit expensive for me, for my taste at least. Now moving on to the Object 703 version 2. Once again, there are 4 different bundles. I would highly advise getting the other bundles. I would just go for the cheapest one for the tank itself. Once again, you can use the discount if you have a discount. I just got a discount somewhere a couple of days ago with an additional 20% off. This tank is very powerful. It's very strong. I got it out of the Christmas loot boxes 2 years ago. A very powerful tank and probably one of the best premium vehicles in the game. And it has this double barrel feature. If you have been looking forward to it, you probably already bought it during this time. Now moving on to the KV 222 2 or 222. I think I own this tank already. Yes, I own it. I got it out of a loot box prior. I can't tell you a lot about these vehicles. I just know that a lot of players know that this is kind of isn't it like a very strong seal clubber tank? So please don't buy it. KV5, a legendary tank. It looks really, really neat. It's in the bond shop now, so if you have the ability to spend the bonds and you don't want to spend money, you can get it in there. You don't have to spend $40 to get the vehicle itself, but it's available if you want to buy it for money. Then the Mutant M6, which used to be a really, really rare tank, you can get it in the game now too. I think it's in the bond shop as well, if I recall correctly. Let me check real fast in the bond shop so that I don't say anything wrong. But it's a tank that is kind of, it's a little bit old now, and it just no longer does as well as it used to. It's actually not in the bond shop. I have it wrong. So if you want to get the tank, it's a legendary tank in the game. It used to be a vehicle only available for the early alpha testers, and they were quite upset when they started selling these. $40 though. It's not the best vehicle. It's quite large. It's a high explosive anti-tank ammunition magnet, and the turret is not as sturdy as it once was, but the gun is like the biggest issue. It also does not, I think it has preferential matchmaking. It shouldn't meet like tier 10s, since I don't remember exactly. I'm just gonna be a bit I'm gonna be a bit careful with what I'm saying. Now the Panzer 58 Mutz, it's basically the German paint job on it, which is really wrong because this is a Swiss tank. It has nothing to do with Germany. They were never sold, but there is no Swiss tech tree, so they just kind of hammered the German insignia on it, which is really bad to see for me, just personally. But you know, I'm just kidding. It's not a German tank though. If you want to buy it, it's also in the bond shop. You don't have to spend too much money on it. And other than that, there's not a lot of stuff that they're selling. Some skins, they look quite nice. There's some styles, for example this one, which is like coral reef. I might have thought about buying some styles, but I'm just gonna be playing the event, and hopefully I'm gonna get enough points to actually get some things for coins, because all of the styles are actually available as well for coins, for the in-game coins. So if you're interested in these sorts of things, you can get this and you can just play the game, be a part of the events for the next 10 days, and do the daily missions. You get some coins. So I think that will wrap up the sales. I hope you have a little bit of a general idea what is worth it and what is not worth it. I think the Object 703 will probably go out like hotcakes, because that is like a really sought after tank. Same goes for the KV-222. And maybe the Caliban, because it's a very fun tank. They have not been sold very regularly prior. They've been sold in the loot box, but other than that, I haven't seen them in a while, maybe during the Christmas day. Now is the chance if you want to pick it up. I'm going to finish off this video right now. Hopefully you guys have a nice little weekend and have some nice World of Tanks festivities if you're playing World of Tanks. Enjoy the 12th anniversary, and I see you guys on the next video. Until then, have a good one.